Tonight, before you close your eyes, perhaps your heart has been carrying worries that few people truly see. Maybe you spent part of this day thinking about bills that seem higher than they used to be. Perhaps you wondered if your retirement savings will be enough. Maybe there are medical expenses resting quietly in the back of your mind. Or concerns about children who are still struggling to find stability in an uncertain world. And perhaps you have been asking yourself questions you rarely say aloud. Will everything be all right? How much longer can I keep holding things together? Will there be enough for tomorrow? As the night grows still and the room becomes quieter, those questions can sometimes feel even heavier. Not because your faith is weak, not because you have failed, but because you have carried responsibilities for a very long time. You have loved deeply. You have provided. You have sacrificed. And now you are simply tired. Maybe no one has asked how much energy it takes to keep smiling while worries continue circling through your thoughts. But Jesus already knows. He sees the concerns you carried all day. He understands the silent fears hidden beneath practical responsibilities. And tonight, He is not asking you to solve tomorrow. He is only inviting you to rest in His presence. And perhaps what brings the deepest comfort tonight is knowing that Jesus has walked beside worried hearts long before ours. For thousands of years, worried hearts have looked toward heaven searching for reassurance. Parents wondering how they would provide for their families. Widows uncertain about what the future might hold. Workers lying awake at night calculating expenses, hoping what they had would somehow be enough. And even now, perhaps you know that feeling well. The house is quiet, the lights are dim, yet your mind continues to move from one concern to another. Mortgage payments, insurance premiums, unexpected repairs, prescription costs, retirement calculation, numbers appearing and disappearing like waves upon the shore, refusing to become still. And in that quiet moment, imagine Jesus sitting beside you tonight, not disappointed that you worry, not impatient with your questions, not asking why your faith has struggled beneath the weight of uncertainty, simply present, gentle, understanding, compassionate. He has always known what it means to live among people carrying practical burdens. He saw fathers wondering how to feed their children. He noticed mothers trying to stretch limited resources. He comforted those who feared they would not have enough, and He never shamed them for being concerned. Instead, He invited them to trust, to look at the birds that awaken each morning already cared for, to notice the flowers that bloom without striving. And perhaps tonight, Jesus quietly whispers to your weary heart, "You are worth far more than the birds I feed each morning. You have never been forgotten. You do not have to carry tomorrow by yourself." Yet many worries are not really about money at all. They are wounds hidden much deeper inside the heart. Sometimes what troubles us most is not the number written on a bill. It is what that bill seems to represent. A reminder that life has changed. A reminder that seasons pass. A reminder that we cannot control everything the way we once hoped we could. And perhaps somewhere deep inside, beneath concerns about savings, expenses, and responsibilities, there are quieter fears that have been waiting to be acknowledged. The fear of depending on someone else one day, the fear of becoming a burden to the people you love, the fear of illness arriving unexpectedly, the fear of losing independence, the fear of growing older in a world that often moves too quickly. And perhaps there is even a fear that if you stop worrying, if you stop planning, if you stop carrying the weight of every possible outcome, then something important might be missed. So you continue holding on, you continue calculating, you continue preparing, because caring has always been one of the ways you express love, but caring for others can sometimes become exhausting when it is carried alone. Maybe what hurts most is not the financial pressure itself. Maybe it is the uncertainty, the feeling that life no longer feels as predictable as it once did, the realization that some questions have no immediate answers, and perhaps there have been nights when you quietly sighed into the darkness, asking God for peace, while wondering if anyone truly understands how heavy your heart feels. But Jesus understands. He notices every restless night, every worried thought, every silent tear, every prayer spoken only within your heart. He has searched you and known you completely. And perhaps tonight Jesus is inviting you to stop carrying what was never meant to stay upon your shoulders forever. For a long time, you may have felt that staying strong meant never setting your worries down. That if you kept planning carefully enough, working hard enough, saving enough, perhaps you could protect yourself and the people you love from every uncertainty. And without realizing it, striving became exhausting. Your mind stayed busy long after the day had ended. Your body lay down to rest. But your thoughts continued, traveling into tomorrow. What if there is an unexpected expense? What if my savings are not enough? What if someone I love needs help that I cannot provide? And tonight, perhaps Jesus gently invites you to pause, not to ignore your concerns, not to pretend they do not matter, but simply to stop carrying them alone. Imagine for a moment placing each worry into his hands, the concerns about finances, the fears about health, the questions about the future, the responsibilities you have carried for years, the regrets that still revisit your thoughts. Onebiwan, without rushing, without forcing yourself to feel differently, only breathing slowly, inhaling peace, exhaling the tension you have been holding inside. Jesus receives every burden with tenderness. There is no impatience in his presence, no disappointment, no sense that you should have figured everything out by now. Only compassion, only understanding, only love that remains steady, even when life feels uncertain. And perhaps for the first time in a long while, your hands can begin to relax. Your shoulders can soften. Your weary heart can loosen its grip, because you do not have to carry tomorrow tonight. And once our hands are open, they become ready to receive something beautiful in return. And perhaps what Jesus longs to place into your open hands tonight is not another responsibility, but a deeper sense of safety, a quiet assurance that you do not have to know every answer in order to be held securely in his care. As the night settles around you and the world grows still, imagine yourself speaking honestly to him. No polished words, no need to appear strong, only the truth of your heart. My finance, my future, my family, my fears, my loneliness, my uncertainty. Perhaps you have carried these concerns for so long that they have begun to feel like part of who you are. Yet Jesus gently reminds you that burdens were never meant to become your identity. You are not your worries. You are not your unpaid bills. You are not your retirement account. You are not the fears that visit you in the middle of the night. You are someone deeply loved, someone seen completely, someone precious in the eyes of God. And Jesus carries what feels impossible to carry, without strain, without hesitation. Nothing surprises him. No financial challenge is beyond his wisdom. No uncertain season exceeds his strength. No future circumstance catches him unprepared. Even to your old age, he remains faithful. Even now, he sustains. Even now, he provides. Even now, he walks beside you. Perhaps tonight, you do not need all the answers you have been searching for. Perhaps what your heart truly needs is the comfort of knowing that the one who already sees tomorrow is holding your hand tonight. And when we release our worries into his hands, his promises begin speaking louder than our fears. For a moment, allow your heart to look back over the years you have already traveled. There were seasons when you wondered how you would make it through, moments when expenses seemed overwhelming, times when work changed unexpectedly, plans shifted, or resources felt smaller than you hoped they would be. And yet, somehow, you arrived here. There were meals on the table. There were doors that opened at just the right time. There were people who appeared when help was needed. There were unexpected blessings that could never have been planned. There was strength that seemed to arrive precisely when your own strength was running low. Perhaps at the time, you did not even recognize it as provision. You were simply trying to make it through another day. But looking back now, maybe you can see small traces of God's faithfulness woven throughout your story. A prayer answered, an opportunity provided, a burden shared, a kindness received, a season survived. The God who sustained you decades ago has not changed. His love has not grown weaker. His attention has not drifted elsewhere. He still knows your name. He still understands your needs. He still sees the concerns you carry about the future, and he remains present in this season too. Even when the economy feels uncertain, even when expenses continue to rise, Even when life seems less predictable than it once did, God's faithfulness is not limited by changing circumstances. His care does not diminish with age. His provision is not exhausted by human uncertainty. And perhaps tonight, as these promises settle gently upon your heart, healing can begin in places that have been carrying old fears for far too long. Because sometimes healing begins when we allow old memories to be touched by God's presence once again. Perhaps there are memories connected to money that still carry a quiet ache within you. Times when there simply was not enough. Seasons when every dollar had to be stretched a little further. Moments when unexpected bills arrived at the worst possible time. Perhaps you remember losing a job, watching savings disappear, or carrying debt that felt impossible to overcome. Maybe there were dreams that had to be postponed, vacations never taken, plans carefully made, and then suddenly changed. And even now, years later, those experiences can leave behind a lingering fear that whispers, "What if it happens again?" But tonight, Jesus invites you to revisit those memories differently. Not alone, not with regret, not with shame, simply with Him beside you. Imagine your younger self in those difficult seasons, tired, concerned, trying so hard to protect the people you loved, doing the best you could with the wisdom and resources you had at the time. And beside that younger version of yourself stands Jesus, not condemning, not pointing out mistakes, not reminding you of what you should have done differently, only comforting, only understanding, only offering compassion. He sees the sacrifices you made. He sees the tears you hid. He sees the courage it took to keep moving forward when circumstances felt uncertain, and perhaps what once felt like failure can begin to look different in His presence. Perhaps it was perseverance. Perhaps it was resilience. Perhaps it was a season where grace quietly carried you farther than you realized. Nothing has been wasted in His hands. Not the hard years, not the disappointments, not the lessons learned through struggle. And as old fears begin to soften beneath the warmth of His presence, a new kind of peace starts settling not only within your heart, but throughout the home that surrounds you tonight. Perhaps your home is quieter now than it once was. The sounds of busy schedules have faded. The rushing from one responsibility to another has slowed. And tonight, in the gentle stillness of this moment, there is an invitation simply to breathe. Slowly, deeply, without hurry. Perhaps you can imagine Jesus moving softly through your home, not as a distant visitor, but as a loving presence who has always known every corner of your life. He walks through the rooms that have witnessed years of celebrations and seasons of uncertainty. He passes family photographs that hold precious memories, faces you love, faces you miss, faces you continue to pray for. He pauses beside the kitchen table where important conversations have taken place, the place where worries were discussed, plans were made, dreams were shared, and concerns about finances were sometimes carried in silence. He enters the bedroom where anxious thoughts occasionally arrive after the lights go out, and with gentleness, He brings peace into that space. Peace over unpaid concerns, peace over uncertain seasons, peace over decisions that still need to be made, peace over things that remain beyond your control. He watches over your children, your grandchildren, your spouse, your friends, those who are thriving, those who are struggling, those who may also be lying awake tonight, carrying burdens of their own. And perhaps for the first time in a long while, you realize that you do not have to stay awake protecting everyone. You do not have to remain vigilant through the night. God is already watching over those you love. His care never grows tired. His attention never drifts away, even while you sleep. His presence remains, covering this home, covering your family, covering your future. And now, as the night becomes quieter still, Jesus gently invites your soul to settle into the peace only He can give. And perhaps this peace has been waiting for you all along. Not a peace that comes from having every bill paid, every question answered, or every uncertainty removed, but a peace that quietly settles into the heart when we realize we no longer have to carry everything ourselves. Tonight, you are safe, you are loved, you are remembered, you are held by a God who has never once lost sight of you. Maybe your mind still wants to revisit tomorrow, to calculate, to prepare, to solvi, to imagine every possible outcome. That is understandable. You have spent many years being responsible, many years planning ahead, many years caring for others and trying to make wise decisions. But tonight, your weary heart is being invited into something gentler, a place where striving can finally pause, a place where your breathing can slow, where your shoulders can soften, where your thoughts no longer need to race toward the future. You do not carry tomorrow tonight. Tomorrow already belongs to God, the same God who sustained you in difficult seasons, the same God who opened doors when none seemed visible, the same God who provided strength when your own strength felt depleted. He remains awake while you rest. He remains faithful while you sleep. And perhaps you can feel that truth settling over you now, like a warm blanket on a cool evening. There is nothing more you need to fix tonight, nothing more you need to figure out before closing your eyes. Only this moment, only this breath, only this quiet assurance that Jesus remains near. And as your body becomes heavier with rest, and your heart grows lighter with trust, let us place everything into His loving hands one final time before sleep gently carries you into the night. Dear Jesus, thank you for being here with me tonight. Thank you for meeting me in this quiet moment. When the day is ending and my weary heart longs for rest, thank you for seeing the worries I carried today, the concerns about finances, the questions about the future, the responsibilities that sometimes feel heavier than I know how to bear. Thank you for understanding fears I rarely speak aloud. The fear of not having enough, the fear of uncertain seasons, the fear of growing older and wondering what lies ahead. And thank you for reminding me that I do not walk through any of this alone. Tonight, I place my financial concerns into your hands. The bills, the calculations, the expenses, the unknowns. I release them to you. I place my family into your loving care. My children, my grandchildren, my spouse, my friends, those who are struggling, those who are searching for direction, those whose burdens I have tried to carry as if they were my own. Teach me to trust you with what I cannot control. Teach me to rest in what you already know. Thank you for every blessing I have received, for every prayer you have answered, for every season you have carried me through, for every unexpected provision, for every kindness that arrived at just the right moment. Thank you for remaining faithful throughout my life. And thank you for being faithful tonight. Jesus is with me. I am cared for. I am safe tonight. My future is held securely in your hands. You are already in my tomorrow. So I release my worries. I release my striving. I release my fears. And I choose peace. I choose trust. I choose rest. In peace I will lie down. In peace I will close my eyes. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. And now I can rest. Amen. Sleep peacefully. Dear friend, Jesus remains near. His love surrounds you. His care never sleeps. And tonight, you do not have to carry tomorrow anymore.